let us get right back to basics. What I'm going to demonstrate is the basic technique of weaving using what we know as a 7-thread alphabet pattern. What I have in front of me is a piece of drain pipe, and we'll work through that for the rest of this session. What you have to decide is where is the top of the rod and point 0. So 0 is along the top, 180 at the bottom, 90, 270. And all weaving, and in fact all cross wraps, are based on the theory of 360 degrees. So we have point 0 along the top. What I'm doing here is laying 2 bands of sticky tape. And what I'm doing is just using standard masking tape and back wrapping it to create the sticky area I require. Having cut my threads to length, I lay the centre one on 0, straight down the middle. Then I take number 2, lay it alongside. As you can see, I'm using a fairly heavy cord here. The principle does not change if you are using size A thread, 00 thread, or any of the other sizes of the thread. You must lay the centre thread first and then work out from that centre with your threads. When you get up into multi-colour weaves, then the pattern will tell you in which order you need to lay on the threads. So that is my 7 threads in place. I'm now going to anchor the left end because I do not want that to move. A little way out, I'm going to put the retaining band on. So there we have the start of the layout. When you're using a rod bench of some sort, then you will find that one of the commercial lathes is far better for you to weave on, because you do need 2 hands. The running thread has to be maintained under tension at all times. When you look at the setup we have here, I'm going to use a heavier cord to wrap with, and that is running between 2 books to keep my tension. I've also got this pipe held down by Velcro on its right end, also to keep a degree of tension on it. So we then bring our base thread in, and as we showed in how to do a whipping, we do exactly the same. For whatever reason this morning, the pattern threads do not want to stick to the masking tape, so we'll give them a bit of help. There we go. Out the way to the underside. There we go. So we've now got the threads anchored in place, and we're going to start our pattern. Now all our filming is done by a young lady, by Helen, who you never actually see except her wonderful filming skills. But we'll have a go and see if we can get Helen woven out as our sample. So here's my pattern, which is my alphabet. And we'll go from there. The H, the first part of the H is an upright, so we just move all 7 threads over to create a line, the upright of the H. when you're thinking of doing any thread art on any rod, most of it will be completed before you put any reel seats, grips or guides onto it, because it takes up a lot of blank to work with, and to try and do anything in relation to a weave or cross art, once everything's fitted, does make it less than easy for you to work with. Right, so we've done our first turn and now everything goes back. To create the centre line of the H, we leave our centre thread in place, and then we go turn again. 1, 2, 3. We now want to form the right hand side of the upright on the H. Put the turn in to create the upright of the H, and then take all our threads back. So there we have the H formed. So the next letter in Helen is E, so let's get E. With the E, we hold on to a couple of threads this side to your left, because we want to create the top bar of the E. The middle bar of the E. Okay, so we're now getting near the end of the name of Helen. Just doing off the N. So here we have Helen's name, and what you can see here, that this top thread here looks a little loose, and they just need all placed in a straight line and packing and tightening. And we do this by just lifting one thread, pulling it through, moving it, taking the next thread, pulling it through, tightening it, checking that each thread is exactly where you want it, it's not too tight, and that's your finished thread. You would tie your threads off, you will then cut these, overwrap and finish it off.